100.5.
Wie week staan vibes vanaand. Die hele ding gaan oor dat ons altyd nuwe musiek kry vir 'n naweek speellys. And that's what I'm doing tonight. We're going to delve into some history. We're going to delve into future projects, current projects, everything. He goes by Jonny Smith, but also Jonny and the fellow Revellers. How are you tonight?
Hi, Venita. I'm fantastic. How are you?
Oh, can't complain. Thank you so much for joining the chat. Almost had a mishap there with not having a link, but we hooked you up.
Yeah, I mean, like, you really did so quickly. And from COVID, that like everyone's got a good muscle strengthened with figuring out video calls, right?
I know, right? I think for me, it was when I needed to do online lectures and I wasn't sure how that worked. And then I needed to become a master in that and also master a degree. So I am double mastered.
What did you lecture? Sorry, I know this is not your interview. But I'm just before...
I didn't lecture. I received the lectures.
Okay. What did you study?
I studied a BSc Human Physiology, Genetics with Psychology. And in 2 weeks' time...
That's so fascinating.
In 2 weeks' time, I'm graduating my honors in psychology. What? Doing my thing.
Congratulations.
Thank
and how
you.
does that make you feel? Isn't that the psychology question to ask?
You know what? I have realized the entertainment world needs a lot of psychologists that understand the entertainment world. So that's kind of where I'm delving into. I always give the thing of like,
amazing.
Tani Anki, that's a receptionist for a dentist, goes to a psychologist. But then you, who works long hours, who travels the country, doesn't have like a fast income with a salary, you always have to work and push, goes to the same person, and they don't understand how to tell you, but you need to take off when they don't realize you can't take off. Otherwise, you cannot pay for your life.
And the entertainment space is so saturated with emotion. Like it's one industry that's not like logically driven. So we need people that understand human behaviors to sort of pull the reins a little bit.
100%.
So you have my full support. 2 weeks' time, I'll be giving you a call.
Well, you're more than welcome to. We'll see how we're gonna work it out. Let's test our how do you say it, the connection right now, and see if we can vibe off of each other.
Okay.
So Jonny, thank you so much.
This is going to be the litmus test. So
yes.
If you start asking me after every question, so how does that make you feel? Then I'm going to know you're doing it. So you have to be subtle about it.
So how does that make you feel?
Too soon.
Okay, I'll wait a little. Let's dive into a little bit of Jonny's world. So you have been in and around the music scene of South Africa for quite some time. Jonny and the fellow Revellers is a new project that you started in a pandemic. I think a lot of artists decided to take a break and find themselves. You decided to start something new, and it's been doing really well. More EPs, more singles. Like, are you breathing? That's what I need to know.
I am breathing, and it's like because there's a lot of other things on the go. So it's something that I realized, like, it's really wonderful to have something exciting that you're working towards, because I always want to be writing music. I always want to be releasing. I always want to do the next music video or the next album. And I'm like, it's like really nice to have that momentum on the underbelly of everything in life, So it's a beautiful momentum to have.
Talking about momentum, it's coming from doing something solo for once. Like, you have been a part of a lot of the well-known South African bands by Beneko, just to name one of them. So what made you actually want to dive into something a little more solo?
Well, I mean, you get many different creative people, and like playing for By Beneko, playing for Josh Kempen, I dabbled with the Tasers. Like, they are like so decisive, They're like, this is the aesthetic, this is how we want to make music, and this is how we want to do it. I'm like, hell yeah, I can write music like that. And because I play a variety of instruments and love so many things, so I have to write music for myself, I get like a little bit overwhelmed. And I really like those creative confines of writing music for other people. But during the pandemic, I sort of like, I stopped overthinking it. And I realized, like, there's this music that I'm like, okay, I want to make a Rolling Stones songs for this band. I want to make a Synthie song for this band. And then on the side, there's late at night, whenever there's these really, really personal songs that I just write with my acoustic guitar, and I like kind of layer them up without much thought. And I was like, you know what? I'm the most, out of all the music I want to release, that scares me the most. because it doesn't have that much. It's not very alternative. There's not much to hide behind, and it's like very true stories, and it's very honest and vulnerable. So I was like, I have to do it. Like, I feel like that's the music that is going to be, that speaks to me as an individual. So I did it, and it is a terrifying and rewarding process. And yeah.
I know it's going to be a very cliche to say this, but this is the only way I can start the question. How does that make you feel to know? Sorry, there's no other way. But like, to know that you need to be vulnerable to get your vision and your experience out there, because I feel like in today's world, it's so difficult to be vulnerable because people are, they're not, unless you have a back but so to say, they do not shush about anything. They feel like they can give opinions on everything and everyone. So being vulnerable in this day and age is very hard to find a balance.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it feels empowering, to answer your first question. But I find the thing that scared me is that I think there's a lot of masking going on, and there's a lot of pressure to be like really socially cool. And I felt pressure to write songs that are like, I mean, there's a lot of upbeat songs, and I do have some rock and roll songs that sort of came out authentically, but I think there's a lot of pressure to be happy, and there's a lot of pressure to be calm and cool, and there's a lot of pressure to be to like write songs about partying and excess and all of these kind of things. And like, these were honestly the songs that I was just like, often when it's the best cathartic experience for me is like, if I'm not feeling great, like, music's one of the most amazing things, because if I'm feeling confident, insecure, excited, sad, happy, depressed, something good will come from sitting behind an instrument. You know, it's the one thing in my life that you don't have to be like motivated to go and do, or in this certain thing. So I wrote music from that space, and a lot of it is like, I'm not feeling very great, and I'm like, or I'm feeling really great, or I'm feeling adventurous, or I'm feeling heartbroken, or I'm feeling this. And it's just like turning all of those things into something beautiful. And I think that's resulted in some of the best compliments I've ever had musically, where people aren't just like, great guitar solo. They're like, I was going through a breakup and your song helped me through. Or the song's really scenic. When my friends and I go camping, we put your song on when we get in the car together. Like, those are really cool compliments to get, because it's like
so
creating people's lives. And like, that's what music's been for me. So if I could give that back, it means the world.
Absolutely beautiful. And it's beautiful that it's a constant in your life. I can't wait to talk a little bit about the single Blue Eyes, some things to end off the year, and just to get to know you a little bit more on the show tonight. So hang tight. We're going to listen to some Zebra Man. We're going to chill a little, and then we're back, which means that not only do we get to hear about his amazing journey, we can also later on see it op ons YouTube kanaal. So maak net seker jy gaan follow Groot FM 90.5. Oralste is Jonny from Jonny and the fellow Revellers. Now, I know that it sounds like you're in a whole band, but we have spoken, and it's very much a personal expression in the fellow Revellers. But I would like to know, where do we find these Revellers? Like, I know it's like a thing that you described as people who enjoy life and music and passion, but I can't even find proper friends on Facebook. So where do you find the Revellers?
Oh, you're looking in the wrong place. I mean, it's definitely just kind of when you pursue, I mean, when you pursue the things that you love sort of selflessly, you sort of attract like-minded people that are very easy to kind of bring on the journey with you. And you kind of like, it's not even that selfish because you're on their journey as well, but there's a beautiful, easy synchronicity. And I think the fellow Revellers is something like that. And although this is a very personal project to me, so this for Blue Eyes, and I've got 4 other releases lined up. That we've got Justin, one of my absolute best friends, on the drums. We've been in music for ages, and Tyler on the bass, and Dean on the keys, who also plays with Dan Lansky and a few other people. Like, they, I feel like incredibly fortunate to have them as a band. And I showed them these songs, and we just hashed it out, and we rehearsed it like crazy, and then we actually recorded all of these songs live. So
nice.
I had to do a couple of vocal takes, I'll be honest, but the music, like, it was all completely live, and there's no tempo, there's no click track. You can hear a few guitar fret buzzes, like it's not perfect, and I love that about it. And and it wouldn't have had such soul if I didn't have those humans with me, the other fellow revelers.
I think it's beautiful to have that support system who understands the vision. And I feel like you've had that support since a very young age, a musical family, you know, making music with your brother. How's that support been throughout the years when furthering your career? Like, do you go back to them and be like, listen, I have a track, what do you think? Or are they just like, go, young grasshopper, go explore and come back with the knowledge?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. There was a stage where I was cautioned quite strongly, like, okay, because I got very obsessed with music when I was a teenager, and like, oh, he's really being serious about this now. And I was like, look, you need to have something to fall back onto, and like with the best intentions, like
Yeah.
very cautiously advised me to not be so serious about music. But yeah, I mean, still share a deep love of music with my dad and my brother. And yeah, we do share a lot of stuff. My brother, I've been obsessed with like songwriting and the fact that you can make something sound like how you feel, but technically with guitar pedals and tones and amps and like that. Like I bought my guitar when I was 19 that I play now, and I've been in love with it ever since. And like I don't really know much. I can't read music, and like I don't really know much about gear. So I've constantly phoning my brother, how do I do this? Can I borrow this from you? They've asked me for this kind of thing. I'm going to studio. I don't have the right microphone. Do you have this? And he always has all of those things. So he's been an incredible source of knowledge for me in that arena.
Oh, that's beautiful. So basically, he just wants when it comes to the credit list, he just needs that little tag there, and he'll be happy. We're like, yeah, that's me. You see that pedal? It's mine. It's my pedal.
Exactly. Yeah, he plays in a lot of like church bands and stuff like that now. And I mean, the setup that he has is ridiculous. I mean, the stages and the stuff that they play on is ridiculous. Yeah, so he's also an incredible guitarist.
Oh, I can imagine. So talking about, you know, your fellow revelers, your music influences, and now coming to the single Blue Eyes, let's talk a little bit about the sound, because it is a very unique sound. Like you said, not always indie alternative when it comes to expression, but I feel like I don't think that alternative music is like a genre. I think it's just a little heading for whatever you feel like is not fitting into a niche.
Totally. Yeah. I think I mean, I was more saying it's like, I think if I play with something that's a bit edgy, you have that to hide behind. But I suppose alternative now, it is just like, it's a far more approachable genre, which I really like, and it does definitely fit quite easily in there. That song, I've been like, I love Bon Iver, like absolutely love that.
Beautiful.
Because that song, I'm not even playing full chords. There's like two plucking things, and I'm basically just playing two strings. And I wrote it like that, and I wrote the lyrics, and then I layered, because he writes these very simple folk songs, but he layers it with incredible harmonies, incredible different layers of like, there'll be all of a sudden, there'll just be like 2 seconds of a brass section that just comes in and out. And he like, the way he layers stuff. And I mean, that's incredibly complex to do. And I wouldn't dare say that I've reached any sort of level that Bon Iver is on, but I was just inspired by starting the songwriting as sparse as possible and like leaving room for other instruments to fit in. And it being like a perpetual journey that sort of grows and grows and grows.
I can't wait to play, because the first song that I got introduced to by you, because I do late night radio, I was on my way home and I was just putting my playlist on shuffle, because I'm done with radio. It's not, I just want a playlist, and I was in an indie alternative playlist, kind of folky as well. It was Leave the City that came out, and I was like, what is this? Who is this? And I am going to let you think about this answer, because I personally have, you know, picked up on this. So I don't know if it's maybe just a thing that I maybe saw, or is it actually intentional? So think about the answer, and then we'll get back to it. You play with long intros. Like, you always reach about the 4-minute mark with your music, but it's never because you start singing and then you express. It's like as if you're building a world for me to listen to your music in. So I've heard it a couple of times, specifically also with Blue Eyes. There's long intros. Okay. Hold it. Think about it. And then we'll come back to it.
Okay, deal.
Jy is ook geskakel op Groot FM 90.5. Ek het vir jou Blue Eyes van fellow Revellers en nog hier saam met my op Groot FM 90.5. So we're talking a little bit about Blue Eyes and the sound. And I also said that I am giving you a question to linger on. And it's about the long intros that I've heard in most of your music. You're always pushing it to the 4-minute mark, but it's nice long intros. So what's your answer to this?
That's a great question. And I think it's quite funny because Leave the City, when I first started recording it, it actually sounded very much like a Strokes early Kings of Leon song. And then we kind of finished it, and I was with the producer, and I was like, no, I don't know, that's not like the vision for it. And also Blue Eyes, it did used to start with just me singing straight into the acoustic, but funny, something happens in the recording process where I like to, it's like definitely guided by feel, and I like jam it out a little bit. And I always feel like, I think for me, definitely the music comes first. And like, there's definitely more of a priority of exactly what you said is the nail on the head. I definitely want to like paint a bit of a world and like let you sit in the feeling a little bit before the music starts. Yeah, I would say that's probably why.
I love it. I can't wait to explore more of this world that you're painting. Is there anything that you're working on towards the end of the year now? I've seen that you're teasing a lot of music. There's a lot of studio time pictures. I need to know what we can expect after Blue Eyes.
So there's going to be a new single, which I will send to you ASAP. It's called I Hope We Make It. It's a little bit more upbeat. Like also got a bit of a Bruce Springsteen influence that I know we're talking of air that you like, but so that's going to be released on the 4th of October, and I've got another 4 songs that I'll be releasing hopefully every month, maybe every 2 months. I've been chatting to some film directors. I love doing music videos, so I'm can't wait to do a few more of those. At Neighborhood in Johannesburg, I'm putting on a show with Tubatsi Malloy called The Atomic Lounge.
Ooh,
that
nice.
only got confirmed yesterday, so I have no posters, nothing yet. So that is just seedling currently. But while we're here, I'm going to shout it out. At Neighborhood on the 27th of October. So still 2 months time, but yeah, I'm going to be releasing a bunch of stuff and putting on a couple of shows, wanting to do something a little interesting. Yeah, so keep your eyes peeled.
Love it. If you want to push that 4th of October release to the 8th, that would be a great birthday present for me. Just putting it out there.
Okay.
But then also,
I'll phone the label right away.
Thank you. There we go. Because you're the boss man. But also then, if you can't push it, the next best thing is for you to push yourself into the studio, and we have like a really nice live session.
That's a fantastic idea. I love that idea.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe even both.
It is recorded. It is broadcasted live on air. It is literally on a Zoom call. You cannot get out of this.
We can't pinky promise, but
we'll do it.
I'd even go as far as a Bluetooth pinky promise. Okay, there you go. Yeah, now it's official. I would love to come to a live session in there.
Thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your journey. I can't wait for the show and Groot FM and just everyone to learn more about you as we, continue this VXstar vibes and Jonny and the fellow Revellers, friendship. And I feel like there was a connection. We can definitely, start our sessions.
100%. It's undeniable.
Thank you. Thank you. We are besties for the resties now. So sorry for everyone else.
Yeah, sorry, everybody else.
They're moving sideways.
Get out of the way, everybody.
So, Jonny, I'm already following you everywhere on socials. Where can we follow you everywhere on socials?
You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. All of them are at Jonny and the fellow Revellers. Straight and simple. Yeah.
Last question before I love and leave you for this Thursday evening is, if there is someone, and I always end it off with this because I love it. If there is someone listening to the show right now, listening for the first time to the song, and 40 years down the line, unfortunately, they could never listen to the song again, but it's been 40 years and they remember it as if it was yesterday. What is that one thing in Blue Eyes you want them to reminisce on?
That's a big one. I think that life is complex, and that makes it beautiful.
Ooh, that should be the next song. Life is complex, and that is what makes it beautiful.
Yeah.
I kan dit nie eens beter sê nie. Johnny, thank you so much for chilling with me tonight. For the first time on Groei
Nice to have you in my living room.
Thank you. Thank you for being in my home as well, because I practically live here. But anyway, for the first time op Groot FM 90.5 en ook vir die heel eerste keer op Weekstyle Vibes met Venita, Jonny and the fellow Revellers met Blue Eyes.
Groot FM 90.5